These were the rioters, the protesters in Lancaster. I want to show you them first. They were upset, of course, after a police officer shot a man, and we always know that that, of course, is racism.
Yeah. Right,
Here's what they had to say about it.
All that peaceful shit's done. At the end of the day, we need results. And at this point, these young people here are going to get it one way or another.
Honestly, the way I feel, you kill my cat, I kill your dog.
So this is, of course, the narrative, and this, of course, sets off riots. Like I said, send me one video of a completely just cut and dry lynching, like we're talking about. That's the narrative right now. I haven't seen one. I've seen cops act poorly. I've seen cops have bad training. I've never seen a clear-cut situation. In the last 6 months, I shouldn't say never, but recently with all these riots, this is the new season of riots, I haven't seen anything even close to what you guys claim. Let's go to the one here so you know what happened. The guy's name was Ricardo Munoz. A woman was fleeing the house, and he was chasing her with a knife. This cop is a hero, but just like, by the way, with Jacob Blake, where we don't care about the fact that the woman was sexually assaulted, had a restraining order, an active warrant, and then said, hey, by the way, the guy who sexually assaulted me, he's back here. The cop said, thank you for doing the right thing. We'll be there to protect you. In this case, a woman is being chased by a man with a knife. But let's forget about Me Too. The officer's not supposed to do anything. Here's the body cam footage.
Get back.
And the man is chasing with a knife. Now let's go. We'll see a freeze frame here. Hold it. He's not only holding a knife, he's making a war face. That's like Daniel Day-Lewis in Last of the Mohicans.
He definitely looks serious.
Yeah, he's in the air. It's an action move.
Wow, and we have riots and protests. And expect, by the way, this to be brushed under the rug. Just like Rayshard Brooks, that kind of went away. Because they thought, well, you know what? The American public is going to be on board with us because all he did was aim a gun at a cop's face, beat the crap out of them. And it wasn't a real gun. It was a taser. Then Americans said, I think beating the crap out of an officer and aiming a taser at his face is enough. And they said, you know what? Let's forget about that one. Here's Jacob Blake. And once people say, you know what? I think a restraining order for a would-be rapist going back to the house, stealing the keys of the woman that he allegedly raped, anything, they'll go, you know what? That's fine. Well, hear about this one. They'll go, you know what? The guy was chasing a knife, screaming like Xena, the warrior princess, going, I think, okay, and they'll bring you another one.
It just keeps happening. I love that they released the body cam video because they're like, oh, you guys have a problem with this? This is like, what, 2 days later or very, very soon after? Here you go. Here's the video.
Yeah, just see it.
I think that's what they're learning.
Well, that's not what they're supposed to do right away. They're supposed to be a process, but they're going, they have
crap.
to.
At this point,
they're burning down they're burning down the sites from Witness. We won't have any more visitors go and see where we shot Witness out here, so we need to release this footage to protect these historic landmarks in Lancaster.
And that's what's incredible, that they're in the call for justice. They're actually making sure that justice is not done. So instead of actually doing investigations, they're doing it the wrong way. Now, I know, the way that we approach these, especially on the show, is we talk a lot about how these officers are and how they're showing it. But what's really interesting is that these officers, every single one of them, even in the most justified homicides, these officers are traumatized. They don't want to shoot anyone.
Yeah, that's the last thing they want to do.
Send these videos out. They want to respect the family. If that guy had a family, brother, sister, children, they would normally not release that. They would go out there and try and talk to the family first, and then over the course of time, it would get out. But now they're being forced to stop riots by showing the video. Did you know last night there were reports that those rioters who were out started to get the body cam, and they were like, oh. And some of them were starting to, some of them were like, I gotta walk away.
Why didn't you send in a social worker? He's a product of the system.
It was just a deep fake, right?
Yeah, really. Well, I didn't know that we needed to learn this lesson again, but the lesson from this, don't chase a police officer with a knife.
Well, yeah.
Should be.
I mean, that should be the lesson at the end of the day.
But I guess the lesson from the left is that women of color don't need protecting, and we should lengthen the police response times. And as long as the man is of color, if you are a woman of color, just take the raping and shut up.
Yeah. Well, rock beats scissors, so maybe use a rock.
Oh, by the way, speaking of scissors, this guy Munoz had a history of being particularly stabby. He stabbed 4 people in 2019, including a teenager. Now, this is where people say, why are you bringing that up? That's not relevant. It is relevant. It is relevant because this is a call, right? A distress call. It's not the same as some random pullover. How many times have we found out that there's a distress call and they go, by the way, this is a guy, kind of his calling card is like, they call him the stabby bandit. And the cop's like, oh my God, it's a stabby bandit? Well, I better be prepared. And we don't take that into context. Stabbed 4 people, including a teenager. And also at a certain point, can we admit that people like Jacob Blake, that people like Munoz here, meaning people who commit these crimes, I'm talking about protecting their victims who are also people of color before you start your you people bullshit. Can we admit that people who repeatedly commit violent crimes and flagrantly disregard arrest warrants, restraining orders, that there needs to be something done and it needs to be forceful? If we can all agree that some kid with a baggie of weed shouldn't spend years behind bars, can we all agree that someone who has a history of serial violence should probably never be out in a way that doesn't mark them so everyone knows that they're a threat to society? I don't know what you do at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
He served his time, but he stabbed 4 people, served some time, came out, stabbed more people, served some more time. I think I'd like to know before I start hiring him to bag groceries. Well, it's really hard to get out of the system. Well, it's really hard to get the knife out of my spleen. So, we both have things we got to deal with, prick.